Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Lilibet Day channel. Hello, how's everybody in the world today, tonight, afternoon, in your time? So guys, I a little late, so I apologize that because I'm talking with my sisters with S. So once again, I would like to mega love shout out to all my pioneers members or who always still there in my membership, and to all my new subscribers who subscribe my channel, and to all my new viewers and pioneer viewers here in the Philippines and outside Philippines. Hello, good morning, babe. How are you, Miguel? So today is June 20, 24th, 2026 here in the Philippines, 8 a.m. So the weather here is nice and not really hot because it's now I notice that it's more often to rain here. So I think the summer season is no longer. All right. So this topic is very important to all Westerners, particularly USA, that they apply their spouse for a green card. And there's some issue about that because it's very it's very common that I hear this, that never bring your spouse to the USA because of this. They might get run away, or uh, they might replace you to a white man, or to another man. Okay, so we're gonna tackle that later because some those uh, issue that they said about Filipina, I don't really agree on that, but some factors that Westerners must think many times before you decide to apply your spouse to a green card. Okay, so you have to think, is she's deserve or not deserve for that? Hi Trix, good morning, how's the game? So that's very important. So I don't know, this is only I'm gonna specific this in USA. So I don't really know about other country like in Europe, but I'm gonna address this to those have Filipino spouse and American spouse. So good morning too. So that's the thing, cause um there's that's guys, in a relationship, before you end up to marrying that person. Okay, it doesn't really matter where country that person came, men and women. So it's better, it's very important to know the person first, because some, they just be nice to you because they have personal interest towards you, like the visa thing, the green card thing. Okay, so I cannot blame other Westerners that they say that, because it happens to them that some women, they just use them to have that green card, and once the green card is in their hand, it's easy for them to run away. So I would like to also to explain about the responsibility, like for for American that bring their spouse to the States, even though that their spouse will run away, and what responsibility that this man or woman has to uh, do, even though that their spouse is run away. Okay, so that's very important. So I do believe this kind of thing, that you have to know the person first. Don't, because majority, I'm not putting down of Westerners, okay? Because, they get tired of women there in the West, okay? Because how they treated men, how they act, all right? So once they have a chance to meet other women in other no, women, women in other country, it's easy for them, they're very gullible, for that sweet tongue also of uh, other race of women. So important is you have to know that person first, especially if you're planning to bring her in your country. Is she deserve this kind of privilege? Oh my God, it's raining. So that's very important. What is your responsibilities to her? Okay. So that's kind of thing that um I cannot really relate to those spouse that they visited to their husband's country, because I never been to US, because I tried to apply for that, but twice that I'm still planning, we're still planning, to try and try until until we die, I know. Until we until we get that visa, all right? So but as of now, because it's not going to apply for visa in the States, it's not you know it's not refundable. Okay, it's easy for them to turn down, but you look at the cost. So you have to save your money before you apply, because it's not only the visa that you're gonna pay. Okay, there's so many stuff that you're gonna pay: bills, food. Of course, you have to set aside money from your health care. Lilibet, good morning. How long does it take to know that person, especially if you are blinded with one lie after another for many years? Oh, that's a good question. hmm Actually, it's just like, well, for me, I give myself a chance, to know the person, for me, 1 year. You will never know the person unless you never reach the point 1 year to get to talking, to get to know her or him. 1 year, that's the standard, for me. 1 year, because there's a lot of Filipina, there's a lot that within a week, within a month, their boyfriend and girlfriend, and then the Westerner is so excited to meet the Filipina, and then after a month they come here, and then after 2 months they get married. So they don't really give themselves a chance to know. So that's why sometimes when they bring their wife to their country, it's easy, it's easy for her to change, especially, the lifestyle, what these Western women, especially when she used a Westerner's friend. So it's kind of a, because they never do that here in the Philippines, what life is. So I cannot really tell, but I have a common sense to understand what's wrong or what's right for my action. Because for me, I don't need to ask other people opinion. You know the question that you want to ask every day that you talk to her, every day that you talk to him. Even though that you like you said, Kiss, that uh, she's blinded with one, uh, you know the sweet tongue. So don't fall for that, especially you never met her. All right. So it's just like it's important to meet her or to meet him before you say something, before you do some plan in your future. Never do a plan without seeing her or seeing him in person. And especially for those Western people, there's nothing wrong to help. I have nothing against with that, but I'm against with those Western people that sending money without seeing her or seeing him in person. That's a big mistake move. LOL, they do that in the Philippines. Not only Philippines doing that, all over the world, kids. So it's according which country are doing that worse. Okay. Sunshine Shoulder calls it a next spot. Who is waiting for the Filipino when they come to the West? When they run off with the guy, men have to be careful with this. Oh yeah, it is. Because here's the thing that guys, okay, like in USA, so for those Westerners, American, they plan to bring their wife. Okay, one rules that the green card is, even though that she's run away, or if Western women or American woman married to other like Asian, so if he or she run away, still this American has responsibility to take care of her for 10 years. 10 years, guys. So you have to think that. Okay? So, here's the thing is, yes, generally up to 10 years, even if he or she run away, cheating, or divorce. So that's one thing that it's very important, guys, to know about that card, because they just said that oh yes, some I cannot blame some people, they do that, they just want to have that green card, but that green card is not over that you gave it to her or to him. You have also responsibility to the person that has that card. Okay. Some are married to test drive. 10 years. Wow, yes. That's true. You can Google the tricks. 10 years. So no matter what, like she's run away, if something happened to her, of course, the US government will investigate that. And then it's still your responsibility to her or to him. I would I would meant to come in life with her first before you marry. That's true. So it's very important the meet that woman or man in person. They have no intention to get married, just use the men. Oh, correct, because some, they are not honest to their to the men, because they have personal interest. So this is the thing, guys. Okay, like example, if you are a Westerners, okay, you marry here in the Philippines, and then you you petition her to go to the States, okay? So now that it's easy for them to catch if that person is doing something wrong or cheated on him. All you have to do just call ICE. All right? So if you're really aggravated with your Filipino wife, all you have to do just call the ICE. Okay? She cannot hide anywhere in the States because the ICE is just like the hound dog. Okay? No matter what they hide, they can still smell. So that's the thing, okay? If you think that you are no good to a Filipina, and then she cheated on you, a simple solution, so that you can fight back all these things that you're doing to her, and then easy for her to cheat it on you. All you have to do just call the ICE, and ICE will catch her, and will be it possible that she might burn in the States or deport. As simple as that. You don't have to say anything about, because I cannot, this is the thing that I don't really want to blame on the man's side or the woman's side. In a relationship, if the relationship did not really work, it's not all men's fault, it's not all women's fault, both. Okay? So the question is, whose mistake, who made a lot of mistake in a relationship? So that's the thing that you cannot put blame on, but you cannot put blame in one side. And especially you don't hear the man's side or the woman's side, because sometimes some women, even though they are the mastermind, or they're the one who cheated to their husband, when they say something, the way that they deliver they deliver the statement, it shows, it tells that they are the victims, but no, they are not. You don't believe that right away unless you heard the man's side. Okay? So that's why you have to say something about that. If you're gonna put, oh, my wife run away with other men or white men. So if you're not guilty, also if you're not guilty of doing cheating on her, all you have to do is just call the ICE. Don't put blame on her that she cheated on you. What you did to her, why she has to run away on you, why she cheated on you. So me, I don't really go in one side. I'm neutral. Okay, here's the thing, the rules form of 1864 affidavit of support. You're in Canada. In Canada, we have a maple leaf, no ice. Ice, ice, baby. You know. So that's the thing. Oh my God, guys. That's me. Actually, for American, that that uh, the government will revoke that green card to any woman that has that, because once you file that case that she cheated on you, you know they will process that, so that the government will take that green card to her, not you. All you have to do is just go and file something, complain. Same thing here in the Philippines, okay? So, it's in the hand. So, if for those Western people that has residential visa here in the Philippines, if you did something wrong to her, or you put your hands on her, no matter what, here's the thing, guys, that especially for those Westerners, avoid put your hands on your Filipina spouse or Filipina partner, because we have law, the BAUSI, violence against women, children. So if she's putting your hand, avoid, even though that you really want to fight back on her, avoid that, because no matter what, your intention is to defend yourself to her, you're still gonna put down, because that's against the law. So they can say that you can run or go to the barangay. Barangay is district, village, that you can file complaint towards her that she's very violent on you, but never put your hands on her. That's the thing, because that kind of law, for me as a Filipina, that's unfair to men. Because I remember there's incidents in Rafi Tulfo in action, that he's married to she's married to a Filipina, and I think she's European, and she was battered husband. So it's just like the thing that the neighbor go to the barangay and bring the tanod. I don't know what's tanod. Tanod is the man of the barangay chairman. If there's something happen, they're the one who assess that, to help the person. And then she found out that the leader of that kagawad, she's a woman, and then she found out that, wait, she thought that it's is a wife, but the husband is a foreigner. So he has no protection about that, because that Bausi law, it's only for women and children. So that's unfair. So if there's a woman, Bausi, violence against women and children, supposedly there's also violence against men and children, because not all wife are good to their husband. You can call eyes on your wife. Oh yeah, definitely. Especially that she cheated on you, or she ran after with the man. Yes, you can call. And you can file, so that the government will persecuted her to deport or to get that green card on her. You can, for American, yes. Because if here's the thing, that if she's running away, you still have, she's still holding the green card. You still have responsibility to her to take care of her for 10 years. If she runs off, advise ICE that it was the shame marriage. But we have something similar to the 10 years duty, alimony, and conjugal partner support. Yes, that's why, this kind of law from, like in the States, they have to give alimony after the divorce or what. But, I never against with the child support. But this kind of alimony, something, the government should think many times before they implement that. Because it's just like, some ex-wife, the money is just like, you work hard, and then, especially you don't really get that, deserve that kind of treatment, because they my my goodness, they treated you like like a poops. So it's just like unfair that you work hard, and then just the crumbs that left on your your paycheck, majority of your money goes to her, and look how she treated you. When I come to Philippines, I'll be by myself. Take it easy, no marriage or anything. Oh, that's a good, that's a very wise decision, Tricks. Yes, because that's kind of a, that's why, before I open this, that's why I said that, if you're really in love with each other, you have to, time is gold. No, because if you're gonna go in that instant decision, instant result, I don't think that, like, if you plan to bring your wife, particularly for those American citizen, that's the thing. Okay? Some women that they are not really in love with you because they have personal intention towards you, like the green card. Oh yeah, they gonna be okay, they gonna be sweet in, but after things that once, but not all. Okay, just to clarify with you guys, not all. Hello, Bayou Billy. Good morning. And of course, Joseph. Good morning to all of you guys. I tell Pinais, this is it for me. If you want to live in the States, then you need to find a new man. I ain't going back not to live. Yeah, that's very important that I said that you have to know your partner first, because you never know if she's think the same, some women that they use the men to get that green card. Okay, but I will not say in general, but some, all right, because of course it's unfair to those Filipina, that they are loyal, and they are honest to their to their husbands. So I don't want to tolerate that. I don't want to generalize those Filipina because I include myself. No, I'm not. And in fact, before, I'm so excited to go to USA, but I feel discriminated, even though I'm here in the Philippines. But the US embassy is just like the representative of American soil. I feel that I was discriminated inside the US embassy. So I'm thinking that how much more if I'm there? What kind of thing that I'm gonna uh, experience there, even though I'm still here. I'm here in the Philippines. The only difference in I'm in the American soil in the US embassy. I feel discriminated, guys. And then the one thing that I never forget, when I asked the consulate, what's the reason why, what's the reason why you are not, um, you know my visa. Just, I don't want to live in the United States, seriously. I just want to have a vacation. I have place here. My husband also have place there in the United States. I don't want to live in the United States. I want to have vacation. But you know what, guys? It's just like, okay, I have a common sense. And I have, knowledge, to ask a polite question. But, I'm not really feel comfortable the time when I ask, the consulate, the female consulate, that why? I have proper documents, I have illegal documents, and I answer what you ask me. Why you cannot give me? And then I don't want to live in the States. I just want vacation. And I already tell her that the months I'm gonna stay, and then after that I'm gonna come back to my home country. And then you know what that consulate said? She's a white American, all right? And she said that she don't have time to argue with me. And then wait a minute, asking a polite question to her, is that an argument on her? And then this is one thing that about the visa rules. You cannot ask why you turn down. It's part of that because they have blue paper on that. So what the heck is that? A foreigner retiree American guy lost 11 million peso to a Filipino who had a foreigner's retiree on Rafi Tolfo. Yeah. You know that guy, sometimes, that's the big thing. Well, remember this, guys, remember this. Okay? In Rafi Tolfo, not all is real story. They just add the story so that people, sometimes if the story is long, they have part 1, part 2, part 3. Don't really believe what they said because sometimes it's scripted just to highlight the story. Okay? And then this is the thing that why this man lose his millions for this woman. Why? Because they are not prepared. They are not full, they did not do the research. Okay? And when it comes to their money, they think that their money is unlimited. They don't have that kind of money management. That's the thing that they end up broke. Okay, sometimes there's a lot of there's a lot of listeners that the thing that they don't expect that it happened to them, especially when they lose their money. They sell everything in their country and then they broke or what, because they are not prepared. They did not do their homework. So some in Rafi Tolpo, they tell the truth, but it's just like 50-50, guys. Because there's a lot of especially Filipino versus Filipino. Oh my God, it's 90% scripted, 10% is the real story. Men need to take their time to really get to know a Filipina, precisely, Frank. Yeah, I just wanted to visit. Okay. Now, sometimes when Frank will oftenly, to talk that issue, I just stop him. I don't like. I don't like. I feel, but it's just like thing that I feel that time that second time the whole world covered me. But I don't want to have that kind of anxiety, and then I don't want to have that kind of depression, because if you're gonna overthink that, oh my goodness, they don't really care. So why should I overthink just for that green card? Frank gave me a good life here in the Philippines. If I gonna go to the States, same thing. The only difference is I'm in the States. But when it comes to my lifestyle, it's the same. Okay, from Tricks, Frank Tate, 9873. After the long game, they go vamoose in Ghost after accomplishing their goal. I'll take her back on a vacation during the winter months. She won't want to come back. Well, it's just like if the Filipino, when they come, when they go to the States, okay, because here we don't really have that privilege to make money. So don't don't think bad towards her if she don't really want to come back, because especially when she start earning money there, okay? So let her, but make sure she is still on the remarriage rules. If not, ice is ice is near to her. Okay. I keep telling men stop coming over here and being a simp. True. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys, for American, if you apply your wife green card, okay, 10 years, 40 qualifying works quarters, okay, or until she neutralized, dies permanently, leaves, abandoned green cards, or die. Divorce, cheating, running away alone, do not cancel. So she can sue you for support if below 125% poverty line. Government can bail you for means. She'll have to cut the bus in the cold because I got rid of my car. Okay. Well, actually we Filipino, we're used of commuting. The only difference is just like we don't have the winter season. And then here is just like, two seasons, summer and rainy season. But we use of commute. But in the States, that especially during the winter season, yeah, it's not safe for her. Especially we're Asian, sometimes in the bus station, some American, they love to harass Asian. Not all, okay? Not all American. Men must stop coming over here and acting like they are rich when they are not. Correct. And bragging themselves that they have business or what. It reminds me one of the white American. Of course, this is the thing that they went to the, they met the Filipina, okay, and then they have a book for Airbnb, and then his credit card is declined. So that's the thing, guys, that once you come here in the Philippines, make sure that your credit card is not declined here. You have to ask the bank if something this, what bank in the Philippines that I can able to fix this. Because you know what, they never pay the Airbnb, because the credit card has no, it's declined. So they have to ask those friends, ask for money, and then they keep doing that. And then the reason why it's declined, guys, because he already used that credit card, and then the credit card is not yet paid. But still, he never still, oh, there's something wrong. There's something wrong because you never tell the truth to your girlfriend that your credit card is not yet paid. That's why it's declined. He's just coming here and begging. His friend is my friend, his male friend. They both American. And then even, 500 pesos. They're willing, to take that 500 pesos because he's penniless. So you have to be aware of that. Make sure that your credit card is paid and that credit card is usable here in the Philippines. If it's not, if you're not really sure, don't always have cash on your, wallet. 300 $300, much better it's $500. I'm retired. I'll be lying in the bed while she's at work. That's good because like in the States, if there's a chance that your wife will able to work, especially if she's young, then let her work. But make sure that she knows her boundary. Because this is also the problem. Filipino women, once they go to the state, they change because especially if they influence with with the nightlife. They when they first time, oh, this is the thing, they starts to become addicted on that. So that's why they forgot that they have husband waiting for her to come home. But sometimes they are used of that, so they forgot. And then when she get tired, that the husband always asks something. Oh, she filed divorce. So make sure that if you don't really have that problem, don't marry. If you're not really, my advice, guys. Don't think that I'm a bad person here, but I just give you a practical decision. If you're not really, if you have a little doubt on your heart, okay, and then you really want to marry her, don't marry her in the Philippines, just marry in the States because it's easy for you to file divorce. But here it takes a lot of dollars, to get out of that marriage. If the court will not grant your ground, you will wait for 15 years, 10 years, 20 years, or sometimes they what do you call that, that they don't accept your grounds. They start wearing shoes and stop eating with their hands. LOL, to go, time to go back. Well, it's just like me. I never forget where I came from. Okay? If I go with my people, I do the same. But if I'm go with with people, of course I don't want Frank, to like this is my opinion. Okay? This is how I handle myself for those people that, but the thing is, I will never forget where I came from. That's why, guys, my blessing, it's always abundant on me because I will never forget where I came from. So it's just like me. If I'm here, me and Frank here, I eat by my hand sometimes, and I miss those food that I ate when I was a kid, so I eat that. So that's the thing that I'm very grateful to have Frank in my life because he let me eat whatever I want to eat. Okay? So, and I told him, "Oh, just only you see me this eating like this." Okay? And then I told him, "Oh, okay, I do this in our own But I will not do that in, in a restaurant to embarrass, I will not. But sometimes, let your Filipina do things that what she wants to do, but don't do it that don't never let her do that in public, because especially in the states, eating by your hands is just like, no table manners. But us is very, it's very common. It's a cultural thing. With the rise of price in the rice, okay. You mean rice? Race with the race, with the race of price in the Philippines. I don't want to eat like Westerners. We got be humble. I don't want to eat like our Westerners. How Westerners eat? They eat a lot. Race. Oh my goodness, there's nothing wrong to eat a lot if you deserve that. Especially, but not every day, okay? Sometimes you work hard and you deserve that. I give you a chance to eat that whatever you want to eat, but not every day. If you want a ribeye steak, porterhouse steak, I will, for me, huh? And I saw you work or clean, the car or what, fixing, the your bike, and then I can see that, I will cook porterhouse steak for you with mashed potato, but not every day. Sometimes you give rewards to a person, work hard for you, but it's not that, there's nothing wrong with that. Rice, with the rice. Increase, price increase, rice increase, whatever you. Yeah, because when I read with the rice price, okay. I mean, going to Starbucks, McDonald's all the days in week. They eat local foods at market and cheaper restaurant in cooking at home. Yeah, street food. Mega love shout out to Gunman 83. Hello, how is your night there? Most southern blacks in the states eat with their fingers, especially in greens or cornbread. Yeah, that's what Frank told me, that once they eat, just the greens and then the cornbread. But us, we don't have that kind of, especially guys, some people, in the province, here in the Philippines, outside Metro Manila, they don't have table. They eat on the floor. So, guys, the 10 years that guys think many, many times before you say something, your statement online, make sure that for men, for Western men, if you're gonna show that on air, make sure that you are not doing cheating on her as well, okay? Because is that the thing that you complain that example, you complain that your wife ran after another man, and then they will know that you are dealing with another woman. So what's the reason why you have to go online and say something that you're gonna tell that your ex-wife is a bad wife, but you know that you are dealing another woman too, even though that you are not divorced or annulled. So don't over speculate about that, because for me, as simple as that. Okay, for those American that your wife is cheating on you, All you have to do is just call ICE, and they will run after her. Okay, as simple as that. You don't have to show online that you are the victim, because sometimes people, they love to do some story that they are the victims, but in fact they are the one, the cause why the women run away with him or cheated on him. So we don't do that. Okay, be honest, be neutral to the people, to the person that one time that she was nice to you. Okay? So I don't really put blame. If the relation did not really work, even though that you are married, if that did not really work, and then you end up divorced or separate, because it's not only the man's fault, it's also a woman's fault, because that relationship before that you end up, you team. Okay, now if the marriage is not really work, because you did not maintain the team work. All right, because you, like in the basketball, that's why there's a team. You have to work with the team so that you want to get that championship. Okay, and then the coach is just like guide for those players, to get that, to get the title. So there's a teamwork in a team. The price from franc prices have gone up, but the exchange rate of dollar have gone up also. Yes, that's true. Because I remember, the biggest, is 55, now is 61. So the never, never. Actually, me, I just like, especially for those people that you know, don't, especially for those men, don't tell online that your ex was a bad ex, because we never know her side. And that's one thing, guys, that I notice for those people. They just go in what that person tells. Okay? But for me, I will not say that if the ex-wife or the other side will not tell her side as well. Because that's the thing that, it's easy for us to judge a person without knowing her side. Just only the man's side. You're correct. From Gansman83, you're correct, Lilibet. No need to air out your dirty laundry online. It's true. Nobody business unless you share it. Correct. Because if you're gonna see, especially that kind of, the kind of issue, especially for American, that they have issue that their wife or their ex-wife run after another man. Wait a minute, we have to stop right there. We don't really have to judge the Filipino why she did that. Okay, and then for those ex-husband, don't think that this only the Filipina made a mistake. Why the marriage did not really work? Because you have also, what do you call that, you know in Tagalog, kakulangan. I'm gonna check, the term kakulangan. uh, I try to remember, kakulangan. Well, I have to search first. Hold on, guys, give me a few minutes. kakulangan, shortage. No, kakulangan, if I gonna, kakulangan, that's in, the translation in English, kakulangan is shortage. But in a relationship, another term for shortage, because that's for, commodities. But in a relationship, it's not the term, the shortage. Later on, I'm gonna remember that term. Yeah, because me, I'll give a conclusion, guys. I give a conclusion what I said. If I know the story, and if the Filipina cheated on her American husband for no reason, of course, I will, the man has the power to tell the world, so that some Western men, they can prepare for that kind of thing if something happened to him. So yeah, I will report I will, if I'm the man, if I'm the American man, I will report her to ICE. So let the ICE get that green card from her, not me. Because, when I researched that, and me, Frank, talk about that, uh, you have no, you have no power, to get that. Only the government. You can file, or, you can say something, but, they're the one who gonna get that from her, not you, because they're gonna process that. So yeah, that's, the eyes. For those American, I'm gonna specific this for those American that you think that you are not, you are responsible. You did your best to give her a good life in the States, and then here we go. She still have the face, to cheated on you for another man or for another woman. Then just sit down, hold your phone, and call ICE. Okay? Because all the information is in you. So it's easy the ICE to catch her. To catch her. Not here. To catch her. Okay? So don't say something that you are the victims of that circumstances. Okay? But you are, don't tell everyone that you have a clean laundry, because you still have the dirty laundry. Okay? So don't, because that so a shame on you, and people will know that what you're doing is against the law here, and the Philippines is against the law in the States. So never bring that online that you are the victims. All right? That's shameful. So disgusting. Okay, let me read this. I live on the east coast of the United States. I never saw Jollibee until I came here. I found a Filipino restaurant the last time I was home. All right. There is here truth and his truth, and then the real truth. Okay. This is, this is the common saying. The truth, it hurts. Okay? The truth, it hurts. I don't really understand, I don't really understand those men and some women. Okay? So that's why it's important, to build a relationship, and you really like the person you both, it's important that you have something in common, because if something not right there, it's easy for you guys, to address, or it's easy for you to handle that problem, because you have something in common. But if you don't have that something in common, There's so many questions and doubts in your heart, and then the same in your partner. But guys, beware of things that for it doesn't really matter if you're in the West or here in Asia. Beware of the things that you were doing in your life, okay? And I'm just want to share this with for the husband, okay? Never accuse your wife for no reason. Never. And especially your wife is loyal to you, never give her a reason to accuse her the things that she never think and she never done, especially when it comes to your relationship with her, or to her relationship with you. Okay, never. That's the thing that some wife get tired of accusing of this, and then in their mind it's just like, okay, you keep accusing me and I did not do things. Okay, let me do this for you so that you will really know. Let's see what is your really react if I gonna do that for real. So my advice, never. Same thing with a woman. Same thing with a wife. Never accuse your husband for no reason. Alright? You know, jealousy, there's a certain things that it's nice to hear from men. But jealousy sometimes it bring you to mess up your life, mess up your relationship with your partner. And I cannot tell that they said that majority of women are so nugger. No, there's some men also that they act like a woman. Their mouth, they have a big mouth. Not only woman has a big mouth, men also has a big mouth. I remember what tatay, we call my father is tatay. What my tatay said, okay? A group of men, when they talk together, yeah, they took something, how to make their family, to make money. But sometimes they have also do a gossip. Once a man do a gossip, is worse than women gossip. Okay? That's what came from my father. Some men, they don't really accept that they do some gossip also, especially when they talking about women. And I really value my father words when it comes to woman. I really value. We all value, because imagine, guys, we're all 9 girls. We don't have a brother. The only man in the house is my tatay, my father. So my father always teach us, don't be so like, don't act like, be respectful, because if you're respectful to yourself, men will respect you. If not, they will not respect you, because he example women. That's the truth. When I was like in teenager, I don't really get the point what she's really trying to tell us. When I get older, I realize, yeah, makes sense what he said. Because like, if you don't show respect to yourself as a woman, men will disrespect you, particularly when you dress. Okay? You don't have to dress sexy dress, but you look like a whore. You can dress sexy, but it still respectful outfit. Okay? Don't wear a sexy dress that you look like a whore. Men will not respect you. They will curious how to touch your legs, how to touch your butt, how to touch uh your private part of your body because of that. So men will show you you're sexy but you look so decent and very respectful. They will not do such a thing what I said. So the thing is, that's I always, we always, even in my, in my niece, be respectful to yourself, because if you are not showing disrespectful to yourself, particularly when you dress, men, it's easy for them, to disrespect you. Because it's just like my father told us, women just like a banana. They look at the banana, which banana that it's really good to eat. Okay? They pick the banana. Once they pick the banana, okay, what my father said, men, they just gonna peel the banana. Curious, how does it taste? They gonna eat it. Once the man satisfied about the taste, what you gonna do about the skin? They gonna throw it. Okay? If you don't show respect to yourself. So it's just like you don't show to men that you are a banana, that you are ready to eat. Okay? Because that's what happened to you. They're gonna eat and then they're gonna throw you once they done.
304.
Huh? Sorry my word guys when I say something. But I'm not really use of that, but I apologize my words for that. So I don't really know about, but there is a Jollibee in Skookie. How can you read this? Frank, Illinois. Truly live it, there is an old school phrase, and that's the goes, ladies, we ain't just talking about you because some of these dudes it's itches too. Correct. 3 or 4. Okay, I will use that code number 3 or 4. I told my girlfriend don't serve rice in spaghetti. I told my girl they don't serve rice in spaghetti. Yeah, that's what, I remember, Bayo Belly, he mentioned that, when he came here in the Philippines, he experienced that there's a spaghetti, fried chicken, and rice. In New York, he said that's only different types of burger that they have. Okay. So I don't want, when I was, well, it's just like, I'm a late bloomer. That's why I end up that a late bloomer before I get married. Okay? Because I don't want men treated me like a banana. But in my decision in my life, I did a mistake. But that mistake I correct that. Okay? But I never bother my parents, or well, my tatay, because my mother died 2002. Yeah, 2002. So again, I will not against for those men that they voice out what their wife doing to them, but make sure guys that you are not doing mistake also, because it's so a shame. It's so a shame, guys, seriously, it's so a shame you're gonna go online to tell the world that you are a victim, but what you're doing right now is not right. Okay, when it comes to relationship. So if you are not doing same thing, cheated on her, cheated on him, then just call ICE. ICE will get there, will get your wife or what. But don't do some, like I said, don't accuse of your wife, of your husband for nothing. Okay? It's just like you just want to because you're upset. No, you don't. So remember that for those American, all right? Think many, many, many times before you marry a Filipina or other Asian country. And then think many, many times before you bring her to the States. Make sure that she will not run another man. Okay? Because that green card thing, you have that responsibility for 10 years. Even though she's run away or cheated, as long as she's living in the States. Okay? So, if she's too worse getting cheating on you, all you have to do is just call ICE, guys. Don't make any hassle on yourself. All you have to do is just call ICE. I don't know the hotline of ICE, but you know the ICE. ICE. But you know they're planning to change that to NICE. Okay? As simple as that. Okay? Don't tell everyone. Don't tell don't tell online that you are the victim. Think many, many times. Because if you're gonna do that, you know what? If you're gonna do that, people will think that you just for the sake of content and for the sake of donation that you're gonna fool for those people will fool for your drama. You know, sometimes, people acting not right because of that drama. So, for those people, don't fall for the drama that you send to other show or other channel. Like, this is one thing that, I'm very straightforward. I'm very outspoken. Things what's going on here in my country. And I really want to share this to all Asians people and Western people, because when you come here in the Philippines, do you think that there's unbelievable? Is that in the law? But if you not pay attention with that, you're gonna end up go to prison or go to jail, or at the same time you're gonna fine for that. Just leave her there and move back to the Philippines and live a happy life. Well, it's just like, if I able, if I have a chance, to go to the States, we're gonna live here for, like, if it's winter time in the States, we're gonna stay there for 6 months, and then we're gonna stay here for 6 months. If it's colder, back to Philippines. If it's hot here, go to the States. Something like that. But anyway, I'm not really into that because but we'll still plan to do that, my visa thing, just to visit USA, not to leave, because that's very, very complicated. So anyway, guys, any question? sometimes, that's the reason why, guys, like now, like now, that there's a issue about, the black kid was shot by the Asian, okay? Just a bottle of water. And then, my opinion about that, I will never, it's just like, gonna example, there's a ghetto here, outside the wall here. I will not allow Frank to build a business in the ghetto area by himself. I will not. Oh, the weather. Oh, who is this? How is the weather in the Philippines right now? Oh, it's amazing. It's not hot. It's not humid. Just right, because we're in the rainy season. Okay, so it's good. Be big. So I will not allow Frank. I will not allow Frank to build a business in the Filipino community just by him. I will not. Even though that I can see that we're gonna profit a lot of money there. I will not. Okay, same thing. If you're gonna go to a black community, if you're just Asian, don't don't build a business there. As simple as that. Okay, I'm burning up in Texas. Oh, cause yeah, it's summer, right? Cause it's June. So come here in the Philippines, you will not burn, cause well, Philippines is the tropical country. Vic, okay, noted Vic. So it's nice, cause um, it's not really, yeah, it's summer, in the States, but if it's summer, it's summer. Texas is kind of a warm states, right? Just like Florida. Let be honest, if you are a old man, you bring a hot young lady to States. You young men, young men are going to try to get that box. If I stay longer than a month in the States, I'll get ill and homesick for the Philippines. I'm like the only one who's not working. You know what? Yeah. Just make yourself busy. The issue with the young man getting shot is sad, but when you threaten someone with a gun, there is a consequence. Yeah, actually, for me, I don't, gun is for protection. So don't shown to brag that you have gun. Okay? So here's the thing that maybe I watching a lot of gangster movies, organized crime movies. So for me, if you're gonna shine your gun, you have to make it pop the cap. Okay, don't shine to brag it. No, because you know what? You give a chance a person to kill you for doing that. Okay, that's the reason why I love the series The Sopranos. I love that. I've been watching that for 5 times because I love that series, okay? And sometimes if I'm carried away, I dream that I'm one of the gangster. So I love that, The Soprano. Correct, Frank Joseph. Okay. I got a lot of presents for Father's Day here and lots of love. Yo, good for you, Joseph, that you have that. Not all men have that. Cause you know what? I have friend. He's a white American. What state he is? I forgot what he said. You know what? This is sad because when he grow up, he never met his father, and then he's living with his mom, and he never felt that love with his father. But I can tell that he grown that he said that he abandoned his father, so that's the sad part. The kid got shot in back. Oh, it's not, because it's just like, that's against the law, right? Especially if that it doesn't really matter, kid, old, if that person has no weapon to fight you back. That's especially, what, I'll give you a example. This guys, my cousin, this is my first degree cousin. Her father and my father are brothers, all right? She's a policewoman in Bacolod City. That time, she was victim of this snatcher. So that time, it's December, she just get her 13-month bonus. And then this guy, same guy that snatched her, so he's just like, what, she's so furious, and then she runs, and then he shoot that. But the thing is, the man was on the back. So you know what, it takes to, well, see, she go to court, and then they pay the bills, and then the case was acquit. But it's still that, if this family of victims will really pursue that, it possible that she might go to jail, and then what do you call that, out on service, administrative offense. So she decided to resign so that she will get a little money from PNP. That's what happened to my cousin. Oh yeah. Actually, the I don't know if that's because there's a name of the shooting incident in the state that has, it's a name of a group in the states. I don't know, maybe they just copy that, or somebody hire or doing that because they're minor, 14 and 15. Because here in the Philippines, they cannot put jail on the kid that age. So the Congress or the Senate try to less the age, 10 years old. So, and then they have conversation that, oh, they can do this because they will not go to jail. Because here, if that minor age, they just go to rehabilitation, and then there's I don't know how long the rehabilitation, and then the parents will the rehab will do the thing, and then before they go home. So that's a sad thing. Have you watched The Wire? Wire? Nope. Opening a business sounds good, but it's another country, it's different, so I wouldn't do it. True, because here in the Philippines, it's not really safe for that, and they will not allow you just create by your own, except that you have a Filipino spouse, she's the one who gonna handle that. You are the one who finance like a small business. But here, if you're gonna do a big business, it's just like 60-40. 60% Filipino ownership and 40% a Western ownership. But me, yeah, if I go to a black neighborhood, I will not, I'm an Asian, I will not build a business there. Seriously, I will not. Just like I example Frank, I will not let Frank to build a business there outside the gate out there, even though we can see a potential to get a lot of profit. I will not. Okay, I will not. I will not bring my husband life in danger. I will not. Forget it, that profit. Same thing, same thing. If you're gonna leave, if you're gonna, well, it's just like well, I have that opinion that Asians, because if you're gonna say Asian, it's including Japanese, Filipinos, Vietnamese. But in that black neighborhood, in the Chinese and Korean, so understood they're Asian. But sometimes that's why the Korean and Chinese reacted about that. Lilibet, what are the gun law in the Philippines as a foreigner? As far as ownership. Okay, we have the law here in the Philippines that foreigners prohibited to own a gun here in the Philippines. You're not allowed to own or buy guns here, even though you're married to a Filipina. Well, I can buy a gun for myself or to protect my home, but Frank cannot. Same thing with the land. The land and the gun is same category. Okay? Yes, I watched The Wire. Did I watch The Wire, Frank? Frank. Oh my goodness. He's concentrating. He never heard me. Anyway. It's like The Sopranos, only the hood. Baltimore, Maryland. Okay. Oh my goodness, a lot of gangster movies I watch. But one of my favorite is Sopranos. But for the movie, I like The Godfathers.
I watched The Wire.
I'm
I
asking.
did, not you.
Okay. Oh, I'm interesting. I want to watch that. Can you please check in your Prime? Old saying, give a Asian a bowl of rice, he'll open up a restaurant. Yeah, because rice is life for Asian people, but it's just like if I gonna if I gonna build that, I know that this is well gonna happen to my store. No, I will not. I will not. I will not tempt. Have you seen Jamaican beef patty in the Philippines? Nope. Maybe there is, but I don't know where is that. What's something special about the Jamaican beef patty tricks? Lilibet, what is your reason for not wanting to create a business in the black neighborhood? Oh, Well, I'm not saying all, but I have nothing against with black people. It's just like I avoid things.
Read what I wrote.
I would not want my wife to open a store. Hmm. You know, Frank, that's his reason. I would not want my wife to open a store. I watch Power sometimes out here. They're in the well, I saw some Jamaican food here in the Philippines. Oh yeah, I saw Jamaican, just like empanada. It looks like empanada, but I will check if they have, if they have, Jamaican. There's, in the mall they have Jamaican, empanada. There is, and I think like in Eastwood, Eastwood that's in Libis. It's just like it's a community that's surrounded with high-rise building, and then in the center there's there's a mall. So all people living in that high-rise building, they don't need to go outside on the.
Uh, they do have Jamaican jerk chicken in the mall.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Jamaican jerk chicken. Yeah, they have. Frank said he noticed that at the mall. Yeah, I saw that also here in SM City, Bikutan. So you have food tricks if you're coming here in the Philippines. We just go to mall. You just go to mall and you will have that. When it comes to I really go on Frank advice. I really, when it comes to his people. Okay, when it comes to his people. And same thing with him. Okay? So, like here in our area, there's a bar. And then, Frank told me that, oh, why not we go there and take some drinks? And then I told him, no. Because that bar area, it's just like a kilometer away from my place. Majority of people there, their customer is like, like truck driver, taxi driver, jeepney driver. So I know my people. When they become drunk, especially Frank is not Filipino, they very friendly. Okay? So they just talk, blah 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 blah. I'm not saying all my people, but this is how they style when they drunk. Okay, they of course they're talking and then they're nice. So Frank offer beer to them. Once they have that, they will never stop. And once you refuse to give because you just offer one or two bottle for them and then they ask for more and then they come forcing you to give that to them. That's the cause of fights. So I avoid that to him. So I told him I will not refuse your offer to go to bar, but we have to go to the bar at the hotel. We're safe there. Not in that kind of bar that near to our place. I don't like that because I don't want you to have that kind of problem. I know my people. Same thing with him. Okay? He knows what's right for me. That's why I said I will not build a store for the black community because he knows better than me. Okay? So that's the my logic for that. Yeah, because I told him, yeah, we can drink any kind of drink if we're in the hotel. We're safe there. Nobody will harm us. So if you're gonna go that in a small bar that you can see that you don't know whose people you with. So I avoid that. I am thinking province or metropolitan area. I when I rent apartment. Oh, you know what? It's nice, I will give you a place that you will enjoy. Baguio City tricks. Baguio City.
Oh,
Oh, uh,
just, just tell the truth. You don't want to go drinking in the ghetto. Just say that. It's the
okay.
truth.
Okay. So
And
the
it would be the same thing in the United States. I wouldn't take you in the ghetto drinking.
Yeah, okay. So it's just like, Frank told me that, just be honest, tell the truth. Okay, I will tell the truth. I don't like to drink. I don't like to drink in a ghetto bar. As simple as that. Because I know my people. Same thing with him, all right? So if I, like the place Baguio City tricks, Baguio City is in the it's in the mountain, but it's just like city. Um it's cold place. That's the summer capital of the Philippines, and there's a mall. There's so many places you can, if you want to, if you play golf, you can play golf because there's so many golf course there in Baguio City. Yeah, that's in northern Luzon.
Yeah, it's a vacation destination.
Yeah, it's a vacation destination. You will enjoy that. But preferably in the metro area. Yeah, why not? Why not? Explore the place. Explore Metro Manila first, and then go. But the place that I want to give you, you will enjoy that. You will enjoy. I don't drink. I know what you mean. My GF sons get drunk and be wrestling in the yard. Oh my goodness. No, don't go to Pampanga. No, you will not enjoy there. Yeah, Pampanga, there's so many bar there, but it's prone of fights. So you have to be aware of that. Of course, there's so many girls there if because that's why there's a lot of Korean there because the girls there is so cheap. 500 pesos you can have, 500 pesos, how much is that in dollars? Like $10? You will have a beautiful young Filipina. You're good with that. 500 pesos, $10. That's why there's a lot of, Korean men go to Angeles, Pampanga because Angeles is the red district and in northern Luzon. Pampanga, I don't really recommend, but for those really want to explore, meeting different, you know, different women, or you want to hang out with 304. Now I use the code number, Frank. 304. There's a lot there in Pampanga. Self inquiry. Hello. Thank you for coming. What's up? So, yeah. But if you know, if you're coming, because this is the thing, guys. Why some people they just when they come here to Philippines, okay, Filipino first thing comes in their mind is women. No, you know, delete that kind of mentality of Filipino guys. It doesn't mean that you come here you're looking for three or four. No. Well, some men they do, but you know what? It's part of your bucket list is to enjoy the place, okay, enjoy the country. But majority of men, especially, they're coming here, they're alone. I'm not accusing you guys, but I'm telling the truth. Some men, yeah, they do. That's why they go to Pampanga because Pampanga is a red district. And women there are so cheap. Like, like I said, that if you have $10 USD, you will have a young and pretty Filipino. But beware of protection, okay? Okay, gunman. So what you're saying, this is you wouldn't go drinking in Tondo? In Tondo? So what you saying then is you wouldn't go drinking in Tondo? Oh no. Well, here's the thing, guys. Tondo, that's part of Manila City. There's a place there that, bef- that time, it's just like, that's a, what do you call that? The Balut, Tondo. I know that place, Tondo. That's in Manila City. Balut, Tondo, that's the place that time that, every day there's fights, gun shoot, robbery, everything, all the things that you can see in the ghetto. That's but me, I will not gamble myself to go. I can visit in Tondo without drinking, but for drinking, no, I will not. I went to Tondo many times. But the place that I told you that that's what do you call that, the ghetto. There's a lot of gangster there. Balot Tondo. But as a 20 years old, but as a 28-year-old guy, I would like to date a older Filipina when I'm older because younger Filipina can play games. How old? How old the Filipina? Are you sure you're 28, Trix? Wow, very young. Yeah, makes sense, but be careful because sometimes not all older women are, especially when they have experience with Westerners. Oh, they're very clever. As I walk to the valley of the shadow of death. I love that movie. With Michelle Pfeiffer. What's the? She was a teacher. But I know the song "Gangster Paradise." Next time, not Pampanga. I'll check out the place that you. Yes, please. Baguio City. I'm happy to be here in the chat. Yes, I'm happy too. So there's so many places, guys. Okay, but you know what? For those first time coming here in the Philippines, don't really think about women. It's okay. It's okay to talk with the woman, but all you have to do just enjoy your vacation first. Talking with women or what, but it's better to explore the place because it's just like you come here that you stuck in for the place that you never explore. You don't really enjoy your vacation. Women, it's part of men's life, okay, but um don't spend your more time with women. Explore the places, but this is my advice, but I cannot really force you to do what I advise. So that's your life. You can do whatever you want to do, but I give you some advice. So it's up to you if you're gonna take or not. Okay, no big deal. Thirsty men be looking for water. Oh, men's are like, men. Women also. My goodness. Guys, if you want to class show, let's you have the class. Hell changes when gets older. Old men love younger women. Okay, guys, I'm just not putting, what? Young men, they love young women. But young women, sometimes they don't like young women. They have a hard time to deal with that. Would would be nice to visit other island as well. Yes, in Boracay, there's so many in Boracay. That's very very crowded. But outside Boracay, it's still part of Boracay. There's an island there that you can have your privacy, not too crowded, okay? So there's so many island there, but guys, I'm gonna tell you these tricks. All the fees that you will encounter when you go to the island, environmental fee, uh, all kind of fee. So get ready. You have extra funds for your vacation when you go that, but I guarantee you that you will enjoy your stay in that island in Boracay. That's in Aklan, in Panay Island. Yes, extra pera. Have you been here in the Philippines, Tricks? Explore where the women are. You know the song of Brian McKnight? I believe I can fly. Whoo! I can believe I can touch the sky. Spread your wings and fly. Don't you know, guys, that the wife of Brian McKnight is a Filipino? So, yes, extra money. Yeah, that's true. R. Kelly. In Boracay, I always stay in zone 1. Yeah, because in Boracay, guys, there's zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. So zone 1, that's for like for, for, uh, you know, filthy rich. And zone 2, that's, middle class, upper middle class, and then some uh, zone 3, that's for, for less people and average people. I love going to Boracay. Beautiful beaches, great food, white powder sand, and turquoise waters. Dave Chappelle wife is Filipina. Yes. Oh, I love Dave Chappelle. His show is the Gatsby, and he was pretend that he was blind. The the orphans believe him that he was white, and then when he was, he's so mean that because he think he's white. And then he said, and then when they go to Ku Klux Klan, and then he's okay, um he's talking about black people, and then the guy said that remove your mask. And then they found out that he's black. And then he's that's funny, guys. I don't want, because some words that might I might uh, pronounce. Dave Chappelle. And then he portray Rick James. I love his expression. I'm Rick James. B. It's so funny. Yeah. He said that, because he's well, because he's a in lover. Enjoy taking ferry over Boracay when I get off the plane. Okay, that's nice. Blind races. That's funny. And then I like Dave Chappelle. But I don't know why, when he was young, I like the way that, his body, it really fits, because that time when he was young, it fits because, he's slim, it really makes people LOL when he do action. But now he's so fat. But I still love his show. And also I like also Cat Williams. Oh, I like that man because I the reason why I like him because through his action you gonna LOL with him. Okay, I love Cat Williams because the way that he act is so LOL. I love that in Dave Chappelle. So funny. Yeah, okay. He divorced his wife because he was in lover. Yeah, yeah, true. But it makes me laugh about the story of Rick James and Charlie Murphy. So funny. I thought that it's just like is that issue about Charlie Murphy, that Rick James he has a unity ring, and then hit on Charlie Murphy forehead, and then just the mark was stay there for a week. I thought that it's just like scripted. But when, when I watch about Rick James, when he say that, that's true. So it makes me laugh about, isn't it? Hi, Brother Ryan, what's up? Oh yeah, when Charlie Murphy, and then Prince, and then they laugh so bad because Prince wearing a high heel, and then with the ruffles, and then and then he end up eat pancake in Prince's house. That's funny. I like the expression of Rick James. I'm Rick James. Ay, ay, ay. So any question, guys, before we gonna end up this show? So about the thing about the green card. So what is your opinion? So any question? Guys, I would like to invite everyone, for those interested to be part of my membership. Feel free to click the join button. So it's just like 25 pesos, the LTC family level. So feel free. So it's not, well, I don't know what's, because we hear 10 centavos, 5 centavos, 10 centavos, centavos. But I don't know how you call that, in the, just like a quarter. So feel free, guys, okay? So that's a big help for my channel funds to be part of my membership. And then for those not yet subscribed on my channel, feel free to subscribe. And of course, for those wants to send donation, feel free. Okay, and then don't forget to give me a thumbs up for this kind of show. All right. So that's the thing that I enjoy talking with you guys, but it's much more better that you have to give some donation on my channel, so that I always be uh energetic, to share some things that you will learn from me, you will learn from my country, and you will learn from different aspects of our lives. Centavos is just like a pennies. Okay. Yeah, because here we have like 5 centavos, 10 centavos. So, like, because I penny, dimes, uh, okay, so any question? So for those people, I think, for those ones to come here in the Philippines, so that you will save a little money for your hotel and plane ticket. Come here in the Philippines by the month of October. Not come here in the Philippines by like November, December. It's gonna be double or triple the price, guys. And then the place that I mentioned, Baguio City, it's here in Luzon area, so you don't have to go outside. So explore first. There's so many nice places, Bataan, Corregidor. There's so many historic story spots here that you can explore. But first, go to Luneta Park, because that's part it's the trademark of Metro Manila, the Luneta Park. That's in Manila City. Because Western people are confused. Metro Manila is the capital city of the Philippines. But in Metro Manila, there's so many cities indicated, like Manila City, uh, Pasay City, Parañaque City, Makati City, at Quezon City, Taguig City. Okay, so Makati City, that's where, that's our business capital of the Philippines. Makati City, in that area. So especially in Ayala Avenue, and then, GP Rizal Avenue, and then Makati Avenue. That's in the, the center. But, there's some like Pembo, Rembo, in, the barangay. And then the biggest city here in the Philippines is Quezon City, Mandaluyong City. Mandaluyong City, uh, that's part, you can see the Mega Mall, Shangri-La Plaza, Hotel and Mall, Podium, um, what else?
Golf course.
St. Francis. We always have a good info to help people out. True. We always tell you the honest truth. Okay? I will not show him, well, sometimes I avoid things that, I avoid personal thing here. But, I just give you a little glimpse about, things that you can really tell. I can really prove that this is what happened. Okay? A little glimpse of my, my private life, but I don't really share that. I just share just like 0.5%. Okay, not 1%, 0.5%. So 9.5 is my, that's my private. I don't really want to share that. Okay, so that's, that's 0.5 that I can share, that, to show you guys that I'm not doing some false information. So let's try that, tricks. Baguio City. That's nice place. You will see. Actually, that's there's so many fine trees in Baguio City. And one of my favorite go to Baguio City is that, their market. They have three public market. Oh, they're so nice. You can see, the fresh lettuce, all the vegetable, because, they don't use chiller, or they don't spray the vegetable, because the weather there, it's cool, so they don't need to put, their vegetable on the chiller, just display outside, and it's still fresh, no chemical that they spray. Hopefully my neck and back won't hurt for my next flight. Mm. So, where state you from? Well, it depends, it depends where state you're from. So it's according, that if you're gonna, well, it's just like if you're in Chicago, it will be like 12, 12 hours,
No, about, it could be up to 20 hours.
or 20 hours.
Yeah.
Canada. Ooh. So you are Canadian. Single, ready to mingle? So any question, guys, before I gonna end, because I already, any question? So if you need a tour guide, I can tour you in Baguio City. I know the Baguio City because I've been there for many, many times. I cannot count on my fingers. Okay, so once again, guys, thank you so much for your time and share your opinion. And I hope that you will never get tired of coming on my show to share some uh, opinion also and thoughts about that subject that I share with you guys. So uh, until next time, so I'm gonna do some any suggestion, guys, you want me to talk about, so just feel free to put on the comment section what topics you want me to discuss on the next show. So once again, guys, thank you so much, everyone, and I really appreciate that. Okay, and to all my friends who still keep in touch on me, still keep it up, guys. Keep in touch. Okay, so if I'm not busy, I will do that same thing. So once again, guys, Little Bit Tate channel is out.